What's going on, y'all? This is Czar, and this is part two of my recording vocal series. In this part, I'm going to focus on setting a mic pre for vocals. In the first part, I focused on the microphone and the booth. So the next part in the signal chain after the mic is the mic pre. So let's first talk about what a mic pre is. A mic pre, which is short for mic preamp, which is short for mic preamplifier, amplifies the output of your microphone before your A to D converter. So let's just break that down. So mic preamp. So we know what a microphone is. Pre is because it comes before your A to D converter, and amp, which is short for amplifier. We know that amplify means to increase the gain of a sound. So the output of your microphone is very low, and you need the amplifier to boost it up to a level where we can hear it. So there's three types of preamps. There is solid state, which is also called transformerless. You've got transformer preamps, and you've got tube preamps. So transformerless, transformer, and tube are the three different types of preamps. All preamps, just like microphones, have their own flavor, character, and sound. You're hearing me right now through my Rupert Neve Designs 511 pre. I chose this pre for this demonstration because it has a very straightforward and easy to use design. So let's go over the features of this pre. The top two knobs. Your first knob here is your trim, which trims the output of the pre, and the one below it is the gain, which increases the gain of the pre. I like pre's that have a output and input because it allows you to get more versatile sound from it. You can drive the pre harder with the gain and then bring it down with the trim. So just an example of that, you're hearing me at 42 dB of gain right now. If I crank it to 48, I'm going to get louder, but I can also use the first knob, the trim, to back it down. So by increasing the gain, I'm getting more drive from the input of the pre, and I'm backing down the output. So just to hear what that sounds like, right now I'm at 42. That's going to boost me to 48, but then I'm going to back it down. And that's where you get the term that you may hear of driving a pre or hitting a pre hard. Means that you're driving a lot of signal into it on the input, and then you can back down on it on the output. The same principle works the other way around. I could bring my gain down to, let's say, 36 dB. So now you're hearing me at 36 dB of gain, but I can take the output and boost it. So now I've lowered the gain and I've boosted the output. So having input and output allows for more versatility. I'm just going to go back to where I've originally had it set. Okay. Below that, you have a high-pass filter, which you will see on some mic pre's, not on all. Even the two knob, the input or the gain and the output trim, some pre's only have one knob for gain. Now, if you're recording with your audio interface preamps, you're just going to have one knob, and that's just to turn your gain. So back into how we're going to set this for a vocal. One thing to really make a note of and know about setting a preamp for vocals is you want to be aware of your noise floor. So noise floor is the signal all the way at the bottom to where if I'm quiet right now and you hear my room, that room that you're hearing is the noise floor. And the more that you crank your gain, the more you're going to bring up the noise floor. So I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to increase the gain. And as I increase the gain, you'll notice that you'll hear more of the room around me. So with increasing the noise floor like that, if you record your vocal with that noise floor, you've ruined your vocal because that noise floor is going to be recorded into the vocal. What we want to do is balance it to where we're hearing a good clean signal from who we're recording and as low noise floor as possible. Because the noise floor we can remove with a high pass filter, low noise floor like that. But you shouldn't hear. Here's a good way to look at it is that you shouldn't hear the noise floor as you're recording. If you do, then your gain is too high, and we want to back it down. Now, the most common way to mess up a vocal is to record it too loud. And a lot of vocals I get to mix have distortion in them because they've came too loud. And 9 times out of 10, I get vocals like that. I send them back and either tell the artist, it needs to be re-recorded because there's very little that you can do with a distorted vocal. Most times I end up mixing a song with a distorted vocal. I'll add more distortion to it just to make it sound like it was done purposely. But, if you want a good clean vocal, you can't record it that loud to where it's distorting. So we distort when we go over 0 dB in the digital world. Now, when I'm setting a mic pre for a vocal, the way that I do it is I'll have the artist sing or rap, and I'll increase the gain until I find out where I'm clipping. And let's say I'm at 42 dB of gain now. Let's say I'm clipping at 48 dB. If I know that I'm clipping at 48, from there I'll back it down. So even at 42, if I'm clipping at 48, at 42 I should still get a good signal, and I know that I have at least 6 dB of headroom there in case the rapper or singer gets loud. I shouldn't clip. Sometimes I'll back it down too. If I'm at 48, if I'm clipping at 48, I'll come down to say 36, and that'll give me a 12 dB of headroom just in case. So that's the way I set up the mic pre to record a vocal. I see how far I can go before I'm clipping, and I know that's my stopping point. I don't want to go above that, and then I back it down from there. Like I said, in another part, I'm going to go over metering, but as you can see, I've got a meter on the 511 pre. Now, the pre is analog, so I can go over 0 on the pre, and I'll get an analog distortion from the pre, which can be pleasing for, say, if I was recording guitars, they can sound really cool on that. But for vocals, most times you don't want distortion, but sometimes it can sound good when you drive the pre and get the distortion from the pre. But you never want to go over 0 inside the DAW, inside whatever software you're using. A good example of a good sounding analog distortion on vocals is if you listen to Adele, you can hear distortion in some of her vocals, but it doesn't sound bad. But yeah, be really careful not to go over 0 dB in the DAW because it will distort your vocals, and I won't mix it, and nobody else should really want to mix it either. It needs to be recorded properly before it goes to the mixing stage. I'm going to briefly talk about this third knob here, the high pass filter, which is not on all pre's, but one of the things I love about the 511 that also makes it very versatile is it does have a high pass filter. So the same way with the high pass filter on the microphone, the pre has one where it's variable, so I can adjust between 20 hertz up to 250 hertz how much low end I want to roll off. As in the microphone, as in the part 1 video with the microphone, I said I mostly do that at the microphone. But if I need to go up just a little bit more, I will turn it off on the microphone, and I can use the pre to do it. And now, like I said, all pre's don't have that feature. So that's why it's really important to, when you're shopping for a mic pre, you look at all the features. You look at the features that you want, and then you find a mic pre with those features that you want, because there's hundreds of different mic pre's out there. So it shouldn't be too hard to find one with the features that you want within your budget, because like I said, there's hundreds out there. So let's talk more about choosing a mic pre. So like I said, there's the three types: transformer, transformerless, and tube. Transformerless are clean sounding mic pre's, are usually associated with clean sounding mic pre's. Transformers have character to them. Even some transformer pre's can still sound clean, but transformer pre's are generally associated with color or character. And tube pre's have, even though some tube pre's are clean, some also add a certain tone that you only get from a tube. Now, in selecting a mic pre for yourself, you want to, first determine which one of those three types do you want. And, like I previously said, you want to look at the features as well. I will say that, and a lot of people probably talk about me for saying this, but in my opinion, color is overrated. And I say that because when I first started engineering and first got into buying gear, I didn't want a clean pre because I felt that clean would be boring. I wanted, words like color and character are exciting, and it's like, well, that's what I want, something exciting. But as over the years, the more I've engineered, I've gravitated more towards clean sounding pre's because when I'm recording a vocal, I don't want a lot of color and character changing that vocal. I want something that's clean. Clean meaning what you put in is going to be what you get out. It's not, the pre isn't really changing your sound. It's leaving it, we would say clean. It's leaving your sound clean. And like I said, the more and more I record vocals, like I said, I've gravitated more towards clean sounding pre's because I want my vocal to just be clean, clear, and natural sounding. A lot of coloring that I do, I can do in the DAW with plugins. Now, with that being said, the little double pre that you see next to the Rupert Neves, it's a pre that's known for color, but you can also set it to run clean. I like a lot of versatile gear. The three preamps that I own, the Little Devil pre, the Rupert Neves 511, and the Empirical Labs Mic E, all of them are extremely versatile. They're not what you would say a one-trick pony. They only do one thing. So versatility is huge for me when I'm buying a mic pre. But you want to, decide, do you want something tube, do you want something transformerless, or do you want something with a transformer in it? The next tube pre I purchase, I've already decided that I want a tube pre. So, and that will cover me from clean to colored to a tube. So, I should be covered. I'll have each type of pre. So, whatever I need, I will then have. And also you want to, of course, look at your budget and what you want to spend. Now, you don't have to have we call it an external or standalone mic pre. If you're, just getting into recording, the mic pre's in your audio interface are fine. Generally, mic pre's in audio interfaces are clean because that's what most people want is a clean pre. Because the thing about colored pre's is if you record something with that color, you can't undo that. Whereas if you record something clean, you can change that later. So I'm going to put a link in the description to this video to a blog post I did, which is titled Audio Definitions in My Own Terms or something like that. But it's basically where I go over the terms of clean, colored, smooth, warm, and just give you my definitions because those terms are what you want to decide. What do you want when you look for a pre? And just as I recommended in the previous video that, I feel every engineer should have at least 2 microphones, I feel the same way about mic pre's. Every engineer should have at least two mic pre's, and for the same reason of having two microphones, is just to have options. Everything doesn't or won't sound great on one mic or one mic pre. Perfect example. The artist I've been recording now at Omni Studios for the past, ever since I've got it, this Rupert Neve 511 pre has been my go-to pre for vocals. However, this last person I recorded, I didn't like what the pre was doing to the low mids. I switched over to the Little Devil pre, which is to the left of this pre, and it worked fine for that vocal. So, like I said, everything's not going to sound good on one pre. There's not a one pre or even one setting that fits everyone's voice. I've had someone asking me for my settings on a mic pre for vocals, and I can give them my settings, but it's really irrelevant because every voice is different. So yeah, keep that in mind. I'd recommend having at least two pre's just to have options when you go to record. If I'm recording someone new, I typically, if I have enough time to, I try all the pre's I have and see which one sounds best. If I don't have that time, I'm going to stick to my go-to, which is the Rupert Neve's 511. Okay, so that's setting the mic pre for vocals. Let's take a look now at using compression when recording vocals.